What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. We're very excited this week. I've been talking with Russ here for a few weeks now to get on. We've had some things happen to move schedule around and very excited to have him on. But before we jump into the episode, I want to take a second and talk about something very exciting that I have launched this week. It's called Fatherhood Academy. So any for the dads, men right now that are listening, if you've ever felt the weight of leading your family, if you've ever felt that you wish that you had a clear roadmap for raising strong, grounded, faith-filled kids, that's what Fatherhood Academy is for. It's a place where men grow together, spiritually, emotionally, practically. It's where we learn how to lead with intention, with love, with strength, and just build a legacy that our kids can stand on. And here's the truth is, a lot of us dads, we try to figure out this whole thing by ourselves, and we just want to go through and just figure out the next step by ourselves. But you're not meant to. So if today's conversation with Russ, if anything we've talked about on the podcast before speaks to you and you're ready to become the father that God designed you to be, then join me inside Fatherhood Academy. I'll link it down below, and I hope to see you guys there. Let's jump into the episode. We've known each other for, I don't know, it was like a month or two ago. I was on your live, and very excited to have you on. Russ Kimura, if you can just kind of talk about what you do. You have another podcast as well, if you want to kind of talk about that and just your experience as a dad.
Yeah, I have I steward an organization called Fathers with Daughters, and basically I have three girls, 17, Ava 17, Lily is 15, and Belle is 13. And so I'm right in the thick of it with three teenage girls. But I realized that as a girl dad, a true girl dad, not that guys with sons aren't a true girl dad, but as a girl dad of three girls, this is a unique space to learn how to navigate all of the differences between fathers and daughters. And so I started this organization really just to serve dads and daughters and provide memorable experiences. So we do things through experience, and then we do have like some mastermind and coaching for girl dads to just go deeper a little bit. But the heart is very similar to what you're doing in terms of just helping men rally together, find a community where they can learn and grow, but also primarily connect with their daughters, because connection is kind of the key. If they can be connected with their daughter, a lot can happen. And when you're not connected, it makes parenting so much harder, from discipline to even just the moments. It's like it feels a little less special. And so I create special moments for dads and daughters to connect. And through that, hopefully that's the gateway into more connection, better conversations, better parenting, better presence and intentionality. That's one of the things we do. I actually don't have a main podcast. I join other people's podcasts for now. Eventually, I will have my own podcast, and my girls probably will join me. But I've been blessed to be able to join other people's podcasts and just share my heart of what fathers and daughters can do together.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff you guys do. You put it on Instagram. You guys had a movie night not too long ago, yeah?
Oh, yeah. So we did an outdoor movie night that was beautiful out under the stars. We're obviously in Hawaii, so we have nice weather. That day it rained, but by and large, we have nice weather, and we have a big LED screen, trailer screen. We show Lilo and Stitch. We did popcorn and hot cocoa and food trucks and a candy wall. And then the dads brought their daughters in their little chairs and got to sit and watch the movie together and just kind of spend a movie night, like a date night, father-daughter date night, but under the stars, different. And they just enjoyed it. It's a fun time where they can look forward to something. Hey, on Saturday, we're going to go out and bring our blankets and our chairs, get some popcorn, hot cocoa, and just watch a fun movie. And Lilo Stitch was filmed out here, the live action one. So a lot of familiar like scenes of knowing, yeah, I know where that is on island. And the actress, actually, a lot of them are from here. So we got to connect with some of them. It was cool.
That's awesome. I love like you talked about having a daddy-daughter date. A lot of parents, I think, need to know that more. Like, you should date your kids. Like, you should show your daughter what to expect when she goes to look for her husband. And I love that you do that. That's something I haven't done enough with my daughter. My daughter is 8, and that's something I need to start doing more. So just having those ideas and stuff like that is awesome. Because I feel like it's funny. My wife and my daughter really connect. I connect my daughter. She's very creative and artsy like I am, and she wants to do all the like drawing and stuff like I do. But then me and my son connect. It's different. Coming from, like you said, it's not against like guys who have sons and daughters, but it's to have a house full of daughters. I can only imagine. Like I've got a little bit of a balance in my house.
Can only imagine. Like and obviously I have my wife, so I'm completely. I've seen the shirts outnumbered because you literally have so many. but it's a joy and it's what I know, but it also can be tense at times with all of
Mhm.
the different emotions for everyone. And having teenage girls, it's a different dynamic, right? And there's a level of sensitivity and strength that you have to bring as a girl dad that's slightly different than, you still need to be sensitive with boys, but you can be a little bit rougher sometimes where you, hey,
Mhm.
get up, and with girls it's a little bit different. And sometimes men or dads don't know how to, you know toggle back and forth. Sometimes they're like, well, that's how I treat my son, how come my daughter's not responding, how come they're just going to mom? Well, maybe the wife's a little bit more sensitive, and we got to learn how to function in that so they can also come to us. Not that they don't want to go to their mom as well, but come to us as a safe space, because they need to know what it looks like for a genuine man to be able to hold space for them, be sensitive, but also be strong, right? They need a leader who's strong, caring, and also sensitive. And it's just a unique thing that sometimes we don't get training. And so if you grew up in a home with just boys and whatever, you're like, I don't know how to relate to a 8-year-old girl. Like,
Mhm.
how does that work? And so that's one of my goals, is helping dads. I do these calls, father daughter Friday calls, and what we do is we just jump on and we discuss a topic. And this Friday, I'm actually going to bring my one of my daughters on to help people understand from a daughter's perspective.
Mhm.
This is what's hitting, or this is what she's seeing or hearing, and that they don't. Wow, I didn't understand, and so I can at least allow them to understand. This is what's going on in the minds of a daughter. You might think you're doing this, but this is completely what they're thinking, and it's such a different dynamic. And I'm really excited and passionate about bringing that to fathers with daughters, so they can say, "Hey, I have a place to be equipped. I don't have to feel lost and alone, and like I have to figure it all out on my own." Because we're not meant to, like you said, we're not meant to do this all alone.
Yeah. No, I love that because it's just like we were saying is like you're modeling what it's going to look like for her future, and when she goes to find that future person of hers, it's going to look like dad, you know. And so when people will question, like, man, my daughter's with a loser, like, well, what did you do when she was younger? Were you there? Like, did you model what you wanted her to look for later on in life? And so I love that, and I love that you're bringing your daughter alongside with you to do these things, because that's a lot of parents too don't realize, like, if you want them to see, I mean, that's a good thing for them to see what you do as well, but as the same thing, like, it shows them how to kind of do what we do. Like, my son wants to be a YouTuber, and so
Mm,
when I'm editing videos and stuff, I was like, all right, dude, just come sit with me, just come figure this stuff out, and
right.
it puts them in that world versus like, no, just go be a kid. Like, no, come alongside me a little bit, you can see the kind of stuff I do. And it shows them that dad is actually out there doing cool stuff too.
Right. Absolutely. Gives them a window into that a little bit. Gives them purpose and a target. But also, to be honest, it's a way for me to connect with my daughter, because little does she know, or maybe she does know. I'm like, so we're talking through. Okay, so you want to talk about this? We're gonna address this topic. We're gonna think through these things. So one, it helps her think through how she's gonna communicate. But also, it's like we're doing this side by side, so it's an excuse and on ramp for us to be together to do something. Versus
Mhm.
as a teenage girl, like, you're just gonna do your thing and that's fine. But how can I find on ramps to connect with you and do things that's purposeful and meaningful, not just like, oh, we're just going to sit in front of a TV or a screen and just be on our own devices and be apart from each other. So I always think through the lens of connection.
I like that. Like you said, it just makes those moments, and it's hard. It gets harder and harder to find those moments to connect. And in the future, when she looks back, she's like, yeah, my dad always was there trying to connect with me. And I think that's the greatest achievement as a parent, is when our kids still want to hang out with us when they're older, but also can look back and be like, yeah, dad was there. And the dad was always doing stuff to show me that he's there and love me.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. And some other stuff you do. I mean, I was on your call with Tyler not too long ago.
Yeah.
So you guys do your weekly, is it Wednesdays, right?
Yep. Yeah, we do a weekly Instagram live with Tyler from Inspiring Father on Instagram, and
Mhm.
he's been a great support. And I said, hey, what do you think? What if we just did like a weekly Instagram live, and we just bring a topic, and we talk through certain fatherhood things. So that's been great, just to continue to process. So it's technically, I call it the poor man's podcast, where we're just going on Instagram and we're doing talking through each other's different scenarios or topics, and then engaging people who jump on the live. So that's been a fun platform for Tyler and I, just to explore and see how that continues to add value to people who are looking to be better fathers, better in their space.
Yeah. It's cool with the lives because you get that instant connection versus like, all right, let's see if this episode hits. You can kind of
Right.
get more connection. And for like us, we as much as we want to be on the podcast, like, hey, connect with us. Hey, reach out to us. Like, you have that people reaching out to you and like, all right, let's talk right now. Like it's cool to do the lives. We've tried to do a couple lives, but they didn't really pan out to anything.
Mm-hmm.
We did a live with I can't think of his name. We did a live and it was good when we did it. So those
Mm-hmm.
might be more in the future for Fatherhood Unscripted. I'm kind of changing little things now
Okay.
as I progress. But yeah, no, it's cool. Just that's something our heart is after, is just like building a community of men, just to let the other dads know we're out there for them, and it's cool to connect with guys like you and Tyler, just who are out there doing that. And because it seems like when we're in it, we see it. We know, like, hey, we can go talk to this guy, we can go talk to this guy. But when you're not around this kind of stuff, or if you're not plugged in, like a lot of people get that I'm alone kind of thing because they still see it. So building that and just getting more men to be out there for men is really big. So thank you for doing that, first off.
Absolutely.
Um, so with what you do, how can people kind of, if they like want to connect with you, is it mainly central to Hawaii, or is it more spread out across the US?
It's both and. So the events obviously are in Hawaii. So
Mhm.
we do different events here on island and invite dads with daughters to join us. But obviously the Instagram live or the monthly calls I do, the first Friday of every month, I do the Father Daughter Friday. That's a Zoom call. Obviously it's a link that I send, but if people are like, yeah, I want to join that call, it's a free call they can pop on. The mastermind is virtual. So I had Oscar from the Daughter podcast join our mastermind this last cohort. So we had a mixture of Hawaii guys and mainland on that cohort for the mastermind. And that's just a 90-day accelerator where we dive in, we work through things like family mission statements and values and different things to help lead your family well. And it's just a small group of guys, 5, 6 men, where we meet every other week. And it's a paid mastermind that we dive deep. We have accountability, but so that's obviously open to anyone who's serious about taking their fatherhood seriously, because it's a mastermind and it costs money and it's a commitment. But after the accountability, like, man, I got better because I was committed to this. So it's kind of a reach, right, in terms of the different avenues that, and I do one-on-one coaching, which can be anywhere. So we could coach online, obviously, or in person here in Hawaii, where my heart, because I got my certificate in life executive coaching. So I do some of that as well, to like really dive deep with dads who are kind of feeling stuck and wanting some one-on-one stuff versus the group or the mastermind or the free calls on once a month. Is like, I really am trying to work through in this season how to reconnect with my daughter, or I want to prepare for this because I can see this coming down those guys who are very intentional. Like, I see this coming down the pipe and I want to be prepared for that. Could you coach me and make sure that I'm intentional with my marriage, with my family, with my health and all these things, my business? So I do those things and I delight in doing it. But it's kind of a fun ride. We're just trying to see how, but I will drop. We are doing our first father. So I do father daughter prom every year. That's kind of the big keynote, like, premiere event, and we've been doing it for 4 years now. And next year we do it every Father's Day weekend in Hawaii. We do a big. Last year we had 350 dads at the Hawaii Convention Center with a red carpet and photo booth, DJ, food, dancing, all that stuff. It was just an amazing time. But this coming year, to 2026, we're gonna, for the first time, we're gonna do the Hawaii prom in Hawaii in June, and then we're gonna do one in Spokane, Washington in December. So it's like, hey, we're gonna do, so hey, if you want to, you're in California, it's not too far, you can pop on over. But is it? No way. Well, then that's an excuse for you to go back to, because I went to college
There you go.
at Whitworth in
Oh,
Spokane.
wow.
Yeah, so I have some roots there, and my oldest daughter is looking to launch in the fall of next year to be there. And I was like, well, she helps me organize the prom as it is. Let's launch another one over there. So we're gonna be doing some of that over there. So I'd love to see you, meet you, and maybe bring your daughter to
Yeah, that'd be
have
awesome.
a great father-daughter prom. So
That would be amazing. I've been looking for a reason. I have grandparents and stuff up there, but it's just with traveling nowadays, it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And so, yeah, that'd be a good reason to get up there.
very cool.
Um, that's really cool. Small world.
Yeah. All right.
But something to go back a little bit, what you said is with just what you're with do one-on-one. Yeah, wow. When you do your one-on-ones,
Mm-hmm.
something to kind of tie things into Father Academy a little bit is something I talk about in there is you need 3 circles.
Mm.
One is mentorship. So you need a mentor in your life. So having that one-on-one for anyone listening, um, having a one-on-one, especially like if you have daughters, reach out to Russ. Second one is you need to have guys that are super close to you. So like with me and Russ and like DJ and Tyler, just kind of having that smaller circle. But the third is you need to have that community. So everything that you do, man, is something I'm going to be teaching on in that class. Is just, it's
Beautiful.
awesome. But yeah, it's very important to have like those people who have gone through it. And so like any younger dads who have daughters and you're wondering, okay, what does it look like to go through diaper years? What does it look like to go through the younger years and going into teenage years? Like Russ has been through that. So if you are looking for something, definitely look into Russ's stuff because that is something you need. Being a dad is not easy. It is one of the hardest jobs, and I honestly, there is a million one books on being a dad, but there's nothing like experiencing it and being in it. And so if you can talk to someone who's actually gone through it versus someone who's wrote a book on it, it's a little different.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I think you being one-on-one with people and just kind of sitting down like, this is how it is amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can you kind of speak to that? Have you had any kind of cool stories come out of that? Just speaking to men about just daughters, you know?
Yeah, it's such a unique thing with parenting, and especially I guess fathers. I've noticed, and I'm sure you've noticed this as well, is that with men, there's an ego and pride level of like we feel like either we should know how to do this, or like I don't need help, or we don't like to ask for help or directions or different things. So it's like, well, am I lesser if I'm asking for help or I'm getting in a community or coaching? Shouldn't I just be able to be a good father as just as a man? Does that say, what does that say about me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, if we can be humble enough to recognize the greatest athletes and the people on this world, they're getting one-on-one coaching. They have coaches for all kinds of stuff. Why do you think they're where they're at? And so I think as we shed the ego and recognize that if we want to be the best we can be as a father, we're going to need some help. And that's okay. It's not weakness. It's actually strength to say, I don't know everything, and there are some people that I can learn from and walk alongside. And so I've seen it in the masterminds where dads like have thought about mission statements or core values for their family, but they've never done it. And so just by being a part of that, they're like, man, for the first time, I sat down with my family and we did this, and each person contributed to the core values, and we pared it down into 4 of them, and now we have it on this, and they created this document and this picture. And now I was with them at the last event, and his I think 6-year-old daughter, he's like, what's our core values? And she could rattle it off, right? And so now they're starting to see the value in certain things that we've thought about, whether it's a daddy-daughter date or structure intentionality of how we lead our family to, the one-on-ones are a lot more intense in the sense where you're being specific on certain things that you're working through or things that you want to accomplish. Like, in my opinion, the way one-on-one coaching works is if you are driven, but you want some accountability, you want someone to challenge you, you want someone to hold you accountable to greatness, because we're
Mm-hmm.
not going to get there on our own. But I hired a coach, right, to help me level up in my identity, because there's that imposter syndrome. Oh, I couldn't do this. Like, who am I to lead a movement for fathers with daughters? And I really had to dig in with my coach one-on-one and have him challenge me and work through some internal stuff. And so a lot of times one-on-one coaching is that we're working through the limiting beliefs that we're like, well, I couldn't do this, or I want to do this, but I'm not sure if I am capable. And a coach can say, hey, no, you are, but you need to address some of these things deep down that are holding you back. So what's holding you back, and how do we address them, and how do we move forward? And in doing so, guys start to make strides and take some steps and leaps where on our own, like just like a trainer, like I lift so much, but when I go to a gym with a trainer, I'm actually going to push myself to
Mm-hmm.
get outside of my comfort zone, and then I start to see gains. Whereas the guy who's like working on his own, I'll go tomorrow, or I'll lift a little bit, and you're not doing as much as you could do potentially. And so that's where a coach can really supercharge people into their greatness if they're so choose to. But that's why it costs money. It's an investment, and they're serious. And then when they commit, they see results, and people are like, how did they get that? And they're like, well, actually, it wasn't all them. They had people behind them, alongside them, like you talked about. And the one-on-one coaching really can help people step into the level of fatherhood that they want to, because
Mm-hmm.
coaching isn't about me being the expert and telling you necessarily how you can be a better father. That's some of it, but a lot of it is allowing the genius inside of you to come out. So I ask a
Yeah.
lot of questions. I ask because each dad is different, each daughter is different, so I can't just come with a playbook per se, but I'm going to say, hey, what's inside of you? What are you looking at? Where are your struggles? And then we identify, hey, actually, this is holding you back in your father that I can see from what you've shared. So do you want to address that? And how can we move forward? And when they unlock some of that, then they're like flying, and they're like, man, my fatherhood's in a different level, because it wasn't so much the tactic of like, oh, I took my daughter on 3 dates. That's going to help a little bit, but it's more so I got over my fear of my daughter, not liking me, or I got over my fear of hurting her feelings because I was too whatever. And they are able to work through things, and all of a sudden they're like free, and they're present, and they're intentional, and they're like, I love this because this is how I was created to father. I just didn't know it, and I needed someone to recognize or shine light on a blind spot. So I address it, I move forward, just like anything else.
Mhm.
And then they can say, man, I know I'm moving in a direction that I want to, but sometimes a coach can just help you with that.
I love that. Like it's kind of like what we talked about is you're not meant to do this alone. As a dad, like you said, we all say, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm good, I get it." This blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, like it's kind of like your mental health a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like we go see a therapist because we want help. We want to figure out. We don't want to keep looking in the mirror and seeing the same person because we're not going to see the thing that someone else on the outside might see. So it is awesome
Right.
to see, like when you talk about that, like you can kind of see that from outside perspective, and it helps like awaken things, and they can kind of see, oh yeah, I am doing this. I can do this differently.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Um, how long have you been doing this all now?
So the proms, we had our 4th annual prom this past June, but the proms were kind of the main thing I was doing as just a side thing. I didn't ever initially, until this past year, think of starting a organization and movement. I just thought, hey, I like to do these proms. They're kind of fun. I can do them. But when I started to notice dads were like wanting more, they're like, hey, when's the next one? I was like, well, you got to wait till next June. It's like, wow, they really? So last year, I did December. I was my first movie night. So after the prom in June, I did like a movie night. And I was like, let's just test it and see if guys want more. And sure enough, they were like, I love this. I want to do more daddy daughter stuff. How does this work? So we did that. And then I slowly into this year started to do. So this year, 2025, I've done, I think, 9 events
Oh wow.
this year. I did like a Valentine's cookie date. I did a scavenger hunt glow putt date, different events that are not like prom big come to dress up and everything, but just small things that dads can come to that are cool and fun and connective, right?
Mhm.
And but in doing so, I knew my heart wasn't just to do events, because experiences are great, but they're not everything. Just like I talked on another podcast, if you just take your wife on a date twice a year, it's not going to be enough for your marriage. You need to do the work. You need to figure out how we can be connected and be a better spouse and all that stuff. So that's when I only recently have started the mastermind and the coaching, because I realized I want it to be deeper than just events. But events are a great way, because someone would just say, hey, look, like you said, I need to be better about going on dates with my daughter. And oh, there's a thing I can go. It's already pre-made. I don't have to think about it. I just need to sign up and go. It helps dads who are busy. We're all busy. Who can't maybe come up with, I'm gonna do this creative picnic with my daughter. And maybe they don't think of that, and that's okay. But I'll provide certain avenues of like, well, that's really cool. I want to do that. And so then they sign up and they come. But then they start to realize, man, my daughter and I are connected. But how can I be more connected? And how can I? So I've done it. I guess this past year is when it's really started to form and shape. So we're not even a year in yet. And I'm really excited to see what God has in the future of what can be built as we just are intentional with a community and people who fathers and daughters being really connected. And sky's the limit. Is I'm not trying to do all the events all myself, and so partnering with a different. We just did a pizza and praise night, and I partnered with a business out in North Shore that does pizza, and they said, hey, we'll provide the space, we'll provide the pizza, we'll provide the favors, you just bring the dads, and then I provided the worship guys, and we just did it. It was really fun, because it was like
That's
I didn't
awesome.
have to do half of the work, because they did all of the stuff, but we partnered, and it was an amazing night, right? And so just being able to provide spaces for dads and daughters, I want to do more of that, so my capacity can lean into events, but also into coaching and masterminds and equipping, being on podcasts and helping, other people build their platforms and see how we can reach as many dads as possible. Mm.
Well, like you said, you live in Hawaii. You
Yeah, I
live,
do.
dude. I know when we talked last time, we were FaceTiming, and I got to see your backyard a little bit. And
Yeah,
dude,
that's
you
right.
live. It's just like a screensaver, man. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, it's, I mean, there's so much stuff out there. You guys very like, adventurous. You guys kind of get out and just explore and do all that fun stuff.
Well, that's one thing that I've leaned into recently with my daughters, being that they're teenagers and they're active, they like to work out, and so we pretty much go on a hike once or twice a week, because outside where we live, there's a ton of nice hikes, and it's active and it's fun and it's a way for us to connect. So we definitely do hikes a lot. There was a season where my middle daughter was come along with me on fishing, so we would go kayak fishing a lot out back, and I'd just take the kayak out and I rig the pole, and we just go kayak through the reef, and she'd catch fish, and we would cook it up for dinner. And so we do stuff like that as well. But I mean, Hawaii is just beautiful. I mean, I'm like, God, you chose to plant us here. Our grow us up here is amazing. So that's why I'm really believing too that the prom can be a destination thing where like, hey, come to Hawaii, come to the prom because it's unique. And, there's not a lot of that out here. So people will schedule certain vacations around because we already have the date set. It's June 20th next 2026. It's Father's Day weekend Saturday. So people can, and we're doing that at a hotel. So people could stay there and then go to the prom and do sightseeing and doing the whole thing. And so I'm hoping that we're going to have more reach to, quote, mainland people who are like, I'll pop on over for a father-daughter prom. I mean, if you have the means, obviously, but to come to Hawaii and not just have a Hawaii trip, but imagine having a father-daughter prom. Because I had a friend in Arizona this past year, first time, well, he's a friend now, but he came and first time to Hawaii and he had the prom, and it was just the most epic experience for him because he got to be with his daughter, but his family got to do the whole Hawaii thing and sightseeing and beaches. And it was like, this was one of the most amazing trips because it was so special for him on Father's Day weekend to be with his daughter and have the prom experience and then go around and go to the beach and go hiking and barbecue. It was just a fun time, right? So I envision that more for dads who are like, man, if I'm going to take an epic trip, families can come and the dads and daughters can go do the prom thing, and then the families can go and do sightseeing. So it's going to be cool. Hawaii's very unique, and I call myself very blessed to be here.
Yeah, my wife got to come out there for work twice last year. Yeah, last year.
Mm.
And we wanted to go, but it didn't work out. So we definitely want to get out there. So I'll definitely get out there and we'll connect and do some fun stuff. I'm a big movie guy and TV guy. So it's like, I want to come out there and see where Lost was filmed and see like
Huh?
Godzilla footprints and all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So for anybody, kind of wrapping up, what time is it?
Mm-hmm.
As we kind of move a little bit, for anybody that wants to work with you, I know you can find you on Instagram. Is there anybody they can find like for the one-on-one coaching and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I'll go to my website, fatherswithdaughters.com. And on there, you can reach out to me, schedule a call. I have my events on there, my mastermind and the one-on-one coaching, and just, or DM me on Instagram, fathers_with_daughters, fathers with daughters. And love to connect with anyone it kind of just jumped in you. You're like, man, I feel like I could level up this season in my life with my fatherhood, particularly with girls. I mean, I'll coach guys as well with sons, but my heart is really geared towards fathers with daughters, and that's a unique thing. And so if someone feels stuck, that's the main thing, is when I tell people, if you feel stuck in certain places in your fatherhood and you want to level up, that's where one-on-one coaching can help, specifically. And so I'd love to work with anyone that's aligned with what we're doing. Obviously it has to be a good fit, but if we can, man, I'm looking, I'll take on a few more coaching clients coming into the new year. So don't have a ton, but I have a couple slots that I would open up to see if people want to coach with me.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. For anybody listening, if you guys have if you have dads, yeah. If you guys have daughters, definitely reach out. Check out Russ on Instagram because he's doing some amazing stuff, and just with what he's doing, and check out the proms coming up. And I'll definitely try and check out the Spokane one. That'd be awesome.
That's right, man. December.
In December.
Yep.
Awesome.
It'll be in December.
Cool. That's December 2026. Yeah.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, not this December. Yeah.
Well, it gives me a year to plan for it. So
that's right. As soon as we lock in the date, I'll tell you. I'll let you know. It's probably gonna be early December. Obviously, we don't want to get too deep into December, but we're gonna do it as a fundraiser from one of my buddies' nonprofit out there, Feast World Kitchen.
Okay.
So shout out to Russ and their nonprofit, but he has 3 girls. 1, so it's like, oh, you're a girl dad. 2, it's a buddy I met when I was in college at Whitworth, and they have an amazing nonprofit that supports refugees and immigrants and helping them get their feet on the ground. And that's so awesome. Each day there's a different world food that they serve at their restaurant. So one day is Syrian, one day is Thai food, one day is Chinese. I mean, different, and he's providing a platform for them to make money and then get established into society where they wouldn't have normally because they're immigrants or, refugees and stuff. And so it's a pretty cool organization that I want to support. And so the prom is designed to support nonprofits. We do it as a fundraiser, raffles, and we, do different things and raise money for a good cause while giving dads and daughters like epic experiences. So that's kind of been the format, and we'll continue to do that.
And I think as long as you keep it like that, like you guys are gonna blow up, and you guys will be all over the place. That's just awesome. It's cool to kind of see the start of it a little bit. I mean, it's not the start, but you've been in it. But it's cool to see it growing.
Well, absolutely. And our dream is that we would find partners across the country that we really believe in and align with, right? Because we can't do it with everyone, but the
Mhm.
ones that we believe in, then we say, and then they're connected and they have connections in the community where we're not doing all of the legwork to try to find the venue and the vendors and all that stuff, but we can partner together. My goal, my dream would be to be doing this all over the country where we're going to California, we're going to Texas, we're going to Florida, we're going to New York, and there's these father daughter proms that we can put on that's linked to a good cause and a organization that's doing good stuff in the community that we can. But there's also going to be dads and daughters everywhere. So it's not short of dads and daughters. It's just a matter of can we bring that to communities that are doing really good things and provide the template and we'll put it on with them. So I'm excited to see how it continues to impact because a present father in the home, the stats are pretty staggering of what the difference between fatherless homes and a home that has a father present in the home. And so it's very important, especially as it relates to daughters and, all the different impacts it has if we can start there. Like I see dads of the 350 dads and daughters that come, some of them, this is the only event that they've come to, but this first step that it's their wife saying, you need to go to this. And they end up signing up or their wives actually sign them up for it. I'm like looking at the email. That's the wife's email, I think. But once they come, hopefully it's a Kickstarter into their relationship with their daughter or it's just little deposits into the daughter of like, man, my dad's being intentional to show up in this moment for me, and hopefully we can see more of that. And so it's a step towards intentionality, presence, and leadership in the home. And I just found that the prom is just a great way to do that. So I hope to do that across the country. So if there are organizations that are interested and would want to reach out and partner, I'm also open to that. Maybe 2027 or whatnot, where we can see a planning where there's a partnership in your organization of you're doing good things, but you also are connected and would love to bring something like this to your state or where you're at. We're definitely open to expansion across beyond Washington as well.
We'll have to talk. We'll have to do a brought to you by Fatherhood Unscripted one or something like that. We'll
Yeah,
figure
there you
something
go.
out.
We
But yeah,
see we could do that.
with DJ, we have a lot of people we know in Vegas with a lot of different like outreach programs and stuff like that. So we'll have to figure something out.
Yeah, that could work for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you for blessing us with your time. Sorry it didn't work out. We were supposed to record Leno last week and it didn't work out, but
Well, good.
just
Yeah.
thank you for your time and thank you for everything you do for men and dads and daughters.
Absolutely. And I'm excited for this Fatherhood Academy that you're launching. I do think that all rising tide raises all boats. And so the more that we can help build community and help dads, I think the message is clear. Fathers don't do this alone. Reach out to Alec and me and other people who are doing things in the space to really link arms to do this together, because there are times when it just feels so lonely or feels like we don't know what to do. But if we have other men that we can lean on and say, hey man, I'm going through this. That's why I do the calls where it's like, you can jump on and learn more. So the Fatherhood Academy is amazing. And I think the more that you're doing that, the more you can equip and give those three circles a place for dads to feel supported and that they're not alone. So good on you, man. Thank you for inviting me onto this podcast. You've been doing great
Definitely.
work and I'm so blessed to be a part of it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, everyone listen, check out Russ and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Love you.
Hello.